Why, you ask? Well, because it's Tuesday, of course, which means the owner will be serving his legendary homemade lasagna. As the clock strikes 1, the 3 grown men set down their tools and skip off in the thrilling expectation of a hearty pranzo. I'm left smiling, quiet again, one with the world. Introduction. What is it about Italians and the pure joy they have in everyday life? La dolce vita, the sweet life. They have turned just being into an art. I've spent a lifetime crisscrossing the Atlantic Ocean. I grew up in the unpretentious confines of northern England, but my itchy feet had me leaving home at 16 for the hustle and bustle of London. After I met my Canadian husband, Hans, I moved across the ocean to Montreal, where I raised my children and then embarked on my television career in Canada and the United States. And now, here I am, back on the other side of the ocean, deep into my next chapter, living and running retreats in Tuscany, in the heart of Italy. I always rooted myself deeply in the culture of each place I've called home, and I've been lucky to experience the diversity and delights of living in different countries and learning from the inhabitants of each. Nowhere is utopia, nowhere is perfect. But I have to say that when I moved to Italy, for the first time I found the path to more vitality and better balance. Even when we, as individuals, are totally committed to a healthy, joy-filled life, we're often derailed by the demands of just getting through the day. When we fall into unhealthy habits, we blame all the mess and stress the world throws at us, but we also undermine ourselves with our addiction to the toxic pace, the endless devices, and the other pressures of contemporary life. As I was writing this book, the world was hit with the novel coronavirus pandemic. The first bewildering weeks had me and almost everyone else glued to the news as it blared out updates of doom and waves of confusing and contradictory information. In shock, we did as we were told, and all of us except for essential workers stayed home to avoid contracting the virus. With nowhere to go, life was like an endless Sunday. Both worried and bored, unable to concentrate on the usual things, we dug deep into unused nesting talents. Most of us had to cook all our meals, and some of us embraced it and discovered that we liked baking too. Once we could focus a little, we didn't just disappear into binge-watching TV. We read more, talked more, played games, and reconnected with friends by phone and online. If you weren't an essential worker, if you weren't suffering financial strain, if you weren't ill or bereaved and struggling, the excess time was a kind of gift, sprung from the chaos. Italy was among the first countries to be hard hit. My heart sank as I wondered whether the Italian lifestyle I so treasured, with its communal closeness and multi-generational family ties, was to blame for the country's initial high rate of infection and heavy death toll. Of course it wasn't. We all realized as soon as other places came under siege and also closed their doors to neighbors, friends, and family. In fact, Italian traditions and our own home country's old ways became valuable lifelines as the pandemic tested us. Some of us met our neighbors for the first time as we began to look out for one another. I know that during the lockdown, I was deeply grateful for all I've learned about living from my Tuscan neighbors, and also reassured that the lessons I offer in this book will be just as crucial to creating a joy-filled life after the pandemic, as they were to the life we knew before it. Many of us have taken advantage of the unaccustomed time on our hands to analyze the way we live, to think about what matters most to us, to question how we work and what our jobs offer us, to feel our distress over what our communities value, as opposed to what they say they value or should value. We were stricken in this long crisis by the world's lack of kindness and widespread prejudice towards others, as much as we were uplifted by the sacrifices of first responders, doctors, nurses, and other essential workers, and devoted neighbours and volunteers. Care homes were the last place you wanted your relatives to be in the midst of the pandemic. Not only has the concept of aging gracefully vanished in many places, but many